And on behalf of the entire team at Food Rescue US, we are thrilled to present it to you here this evening. So congratulations, and please come up and receive the
So thank you, everyone, for being here tonight. Thank you, Britton. That was a wonderful introduction. I had kind of forgotten some of the things that happened in the last 7 years or so. I'm very honored to be here, obviously celebrating 15 years of Food Rescue US. I started in 2018. It was just me. I was a snowbird in Miami Beach. I thought, okay, part-time, I'll do this a couple times a week, and then I'll leave in June and come back in November. Well, obviously, it didn't work out that way. And we've really grown an incredible business, an incredible site. The video you just saw actually dates back to 2020. It was the Super Bowl. It was basically 1 month before the world closed down. It was probably the last major event that this country saw before we closed because of COVID. And I had been a volunteer site director for maybe 18 months at that point, had no idea really where this was taking me. In the video it says that we did about 10 rescues a week. We now do well over 100 a week. And many of them are recurring, which means we do them every week. We have adopted rescuers that do the same rescue every week. But then we always have at least, probably once a week, these sort of one-offs where a distribution center or a warehouse will contact us and we'll pick up another 10 to 20,000 pounds. Everything from white corn flour to pickled eggs, to fresh produce. We've had entire trucks filled with pineapples. So it really is amazing that what we've been able to do is really create this sort of large-scale model. What the Super Bowl did is it sort of opened a door to an opportunity. Up to that point, we've been rescuing at grocers and markets. This showed us that there was a huge amount of prepared food and ingredients that never left the kitchen, that were in refrigeration, and that these were things that normally would be thrown in the garbage. So we started really pivoting a little bit to sort of take that model and just see where it would take us. And it has taken us very far. I'm excited that Rita Santa Caterina, who is my co-site director, was able to come tonight because she just spent 2 days of 12-hour days rescuing after Formula One in Miami. I don't think she slept in like 2 days. We rescued close to 78,000 pounds of food. Amazing amounts of food that seriously never left the kitchen, was in refrigerated trailers. These luxury events, you can't run out of the filet mignon, for example. So there is plenty of back inventory. So when we did the Super Bowl, that sort of opened up the window to what we could do, and very quickly we went from Food Rescue Miami to Food Rescue South Florida, which is where we are today. Basically, when I started, my husband Doug and I were, looking at moving to Florida. A upon retirement. It looked like a fun thing for me to do. I was always interested in food. I actually was a partner here in Connecticut for CT Bites, which is, most of you know, is the very popular food blog. So originally when we went to Miami, I started Miami Bites, which still exists today. You can all follow it if you like. And what was so interesting was that as I met chefs, they kept telling me about the food waste and the events and the food that they would have to purchase and prep and then throw out. And so it became sort of a natural transition for me to start to research, well, how can I combine this food waste problem with people that need the food? And having come from Connecticut, I was aware of Food Rescue US. So for me, it was a natural fit. I especially loved that they were using technology, because I had always heard that people would food rescue and pick up food, but like 2 weeks later, they didn't show up anymore. And a lot of it was just a logistical issue. So having the ability to record a donation on an app, match it with a local receiving agency, and then have volunteers claim it just felt very, very organic to me. And as a result, in the years since I started doing this, we have over 200 food donors, including 7 to 8 Trader Joe's. We have Whole Foods, Sprouts, Mylands, all these amazing grocers. We have over 85 social service receiving agencies that we take the food to. And we have over 2,000 people that are registered as volunteers. So we've really scaled what started off as sort of a small operation to really be probably one of the #1 hunger relief organizations in South Florida. Thank you. One of the things that I think I'm most proud of is really the ability to connect with the community. And another person who's here with us today from our South Florida site, Jane Marie Russell, is our community engagement coordinator. And she's been really instrumental in speaking engagements, sitting on panels, really engaging the community. And as a result, we've become really a major piece of the community. We started right around COVID, something that we call the farmer's market. Britton mentioned it. And it was sort of a unique idea. A lot of organizations were doing food distributions. The drive up, you throw a bag in the trunk of the car, and off you go. It felt very impersonal. So we sort of took that model and pivoted it to something that we now call our farmers markets, where we would consolidate our rescues, set up long tables with tablecloths and tents, have a reusable shopping tote that we would give out to every attendee, and we would let them shop. We would actually merchandise the food that we rescued so it looked like you were in Trader Joe's. And we've gotten a great deal of feedback and respect for doing that, to the point where we have now organizations like begging us to please come to one of your farmers markets in our area. We've done over 40 to date. We do them in the most underserved communities. These are areas that no other organization provides for. They're truly food deserts. Over 50% of the residents rely on SNAP as a benefit for them. So for us to be able to bring a respectful and dignified environment for them to shop in is really very personal. So we're very personally involved with the communities. And I've watched our volunteers, and I always get a little goosebumps when I tell this, I've watched our volunteers actually give cooking tips or prep tips to someone coming through the line. I've watched one of my volunteers help a senior take her bag out to her car. I've watched our volunteers, find an ice cream that was donated and give it to a small child. So we've really earned a particular reputation in these communities that we are there to help them and that we are offering a hand up rather than a handout. So it's, that mission of feeding communities on a personal basis is really what motivates me, and frankly, I think it motivates all of our volunteers, that they're really interacting with the community. And so finally, the only thing that I want to leave you with is, obviously I want to thank my husband, Doug, and my son, Michael, and all my friends. Somebody had asked me 10 years ago that if I'd be doing something like this, I would probably have said no. But it has truly been the most rewarding thing that I've ever done in my life. And a wise friend, who is actually at my table tonight, Jeff Mayer, once described a simple arc of life as being in thirds. The first third we learn, the second third we earn, the third third we return. So being able to return by giving back, listening to the community, mentoring and serving through philanthropy has been the most rewarding thing I've ever done. So thank you.